refrigerator, you know. Then I wash some dishes and wipe down the cabinets, you know. Hey, I'm always working. Always, it seems. Ooh, hey, this lashes. When I say I be sleep, babe, I put these new lashes on, and this one was tripping down and went to sleep on my face, and this one is about to come off. That's why I just gone and get that cheap pack so I could just snatch them off and throw them up in the thing. We is back. Hey, I know some of y'all probably already heard this. Two things. I'm going to wait because I'm going to wait. I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait for a minute. Hold on. You just give me a second because I think we need to talk about it. And also, y'all know hardly ever. Now I've started to do it just a little bit. But I did go back and watch most of, do you see this? I did go back and watch most of our class from earlier today. Because I don't do that. I've maybe done it 3 times. Maybe 3 times I've gone back to look and see, you know, because whatever. I really enjoyed the class my own self. I did. I said, this is pretty cool. So this is what y'all be feeling when y'all be seeing it. Because once I teach it, it's like I forget about it. You know what I mean? Unless something happens and then I just remember. I can't tell you what day I taught it or nothing. No, thank you. I don't want to do that, Glimpse. You have a great day. Okay. But I thoroughly enjoyed watching the class. I said, oh, that's interesting. No wonder people be I can say I might be entertained. You hear me? I see. I can see it, y'all. Yeah, I see now. I understand. Because I used to not be okay with watching myself, but today I didn't watch. Thank you. Today I didn't watch. I just put the phone down and listened, is what I did. This is going to drive me. I don't know what I did, but it's wrong. It's coming off or something. Yep, it's coming off. It's okay. It is what it is, y'all. Y'all done see me with or without. This one's weird because I was sleep. I warmed up that chicken, baby, and made me some Alfredo pasta and put some broccoli in it. Guess what I did? Because I wanted to see. Yep, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I just might not be able to. Hold on. Thank you. Because I didn't want to, I didn't have no broccoli. So I went in one of them packs I ain't sealed yet and took some of that dehydrated broccoli to see. Baby did right on what it was supposed to do. I said, oh, okay. That's all you had to say. Now that I know. Now I know that it do what it do. I'm good. I did. I threw some in there while the noodles was boiling. Did. I probably should have put it in there a couple minutes earlier, but yeah, sure did. And it fluffed right on back up. And I put some sauce on it and some seasoning, babe, and then cut my chicken up, threw it back in the grease, and cut it up on the side, baby, smashed. And before I knew it, I probably didn't watch 2 minutes of whatever I was trying to watch the Tribulation Force. That's what I was trying to watch, baby. I got to about probably 4 minutes, maybe. It was a wrap after that. And I listened to the first 2. I watched the first 2. I listened to the next 2, and after that, I was calling the cows home. Hey y'all, I'm gonna get my sleep. All the years I had my kids and I missed out on it. Oh baby, I'm making up for all them days. Every last one of them I missed out on. Every last day that I missed out on because I had kids at 16 and I didn't get to nap, and I lived on about 6 hours of sleep from 16 until 41. Yeah, I'm gonna make up for it. I will put every device I have on silent or non-existent and go to sleep. It'll have to wait till I wake up. I can't do nothing anyway. Call on the Lord. Call his phone. He gonna answer. Right now I am in dreamland. You hear me? I ain't over here. I'm somewhere else. Shoot. Anyway. Yeah. I'm going to do it. Let me get this. Which one? Trying to think of which one I want to do. You hear me? But we about to do this one. Is it over here? Oh, it's over here. I think it is over here. That's why I was looking. It's under the blanket. Yes. That's why I was looking over here. I'm like, where did I put it? But I couldn't see it. I'm gonna just do this right here. No, I haven't watched Jamie Foxx's new special. Cause I be trying to go back and think about other stuff that I've seen and see if it's happening now, and it is. Cause the first 15, well, I'll say the first, cause I know the movie. The first 10 minutes of the Tribulation Force is literally happening right now. I said, oh, that's part 2 of Left Behind. That's what I started watching when I went to sleep, and I just needed to see, and it is. They was talking about the universal income. They had another name for it, but it's still 3 letters. It's not UBI, it's something else. I said, well, that's interesting. And then showed up the billionaire. And they talked about the one world currency. This is all in the first 5 minutes. And it was chaos and destruction. People was busting at windows and stuff and burning up stuff and shooting people in the streets. I said, oh, interesting. So let me do this real fast. Hold on. Because people in our world like costumes. They don't care if it is that. They just care what it looks like. So let me do this. Because I know this is only what some people respect. If you don't look like this when you talking, they don't care. It don't matter if it's coming true. You gotta wear the costume or they don't listen. So let me put my costume on. Hold on. Praise the Lord, everybody. Everybody praise the Lord. How y'all doing this evening? God is good. He is great and greatly to be praised. We want to thank y'all for showing up this evening. God allowed you to travel. Traveling mercies here. And we're going to pray that he give you traveling mercy home. That's what we're going to do. Okay. We ask that you don't let the children walk because the word is about to come forth. The man of God is on his way to deliver the word. Y'all didn't think I knew it. Come on now. Come on now. Y'all know I know this. I can do it with my eyes closed. We thank the choir for giving us an A and B rendition. They brought the house down, didn't they? That choir is anointed, isn't it? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on. It's recorded. Every church you go to sounds the same. Moving on. Okay. I wanted to give you all an announcement that I think is the Lord wants the community and congregation to know. So on the news on today, on the TikTok news, something that we had learned about a time ago because the Lord had been speaking. Up in New Jersey or New York State, up there somewhere in the eastern regions of the United States, they are telling people that if a drone goes down, you need to have a hazmat suit. And I remember the woman of God delivered her soul a couple months ago and a couple years ago. Honey, she preached the house down telling us that we was going to need us a suit because the air quality might have some biochemical warfare in it. See, the Lord allowed her to deliver her soul. And the enemy came in and he fought with you about buying one and told you that you ain't going to need nothing like that. The Lord will take care of you. You don't have to worry about it. But saints, I want to let y'all know on this evening. The news is reporting if you live in New Jersey and a drone go down, or any state, and you see one of them drones go down, you get your suit on, you hear me? You put your armor on, that's what you do. How many other states, saints, y'all think that's about to start happening in? Because it ain't a country or a province that them drones ain't in. Right or wrong? People thought we were all over the place when we went and we looked up the types of warfare that people use. And we went and they changed the name around the time that we started looking it up. And you know what's funny? Every bit of what we looked up is in our news right now. The biochemical part, the nuclear part, the weather part, the commerce part of the stopping some stuff. It was a woman of God that delivered her soul, even though she might not have looked like a woman of God to you. Just because I didn't have this on don't mean God wasn't speaking. For real. God said, don't judge the outward appearance. Listen. Try to spirit by the series. If they said it's going to happen, wait. Write it down. Make a record of it. You'll know if it's me. They told us not to study Enoch. It wasn't relevant to salvation. But everything that's in our news right now, with Iran and Russia and all of that, the same thing was happening in Enoch's days. As a matter of fact, the people that taught the people how to extract certain things out of rock and put atoms together and put chemicals together and do this whole thing was the children of the fallen angels. And their spirits are running rampant in our leaders right now. They even name their weapons of mass destruction and spying tools after the children. So the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of these same beings. But it's not relevant to my salvation. Well, this is why the world got destroyed the first time, because they was running stuff. And now it's people with their name and their spirit creating things that are going to do the same things that the giants did when they were created. Interesting. When men got to messing in the heavens, something that was above their thinking and above their pay grade and above their understanding level, the world came to ruin. Interesting, because guess what's about to happen? With devices, okay, that have the same name as the beings had that caused the earth to be flooded the first time, when God was sad that he had to, tear up his creation. It's like you having to be the one to unalive your child for something horrible that they did. No, you don't want to do it, but somebody else might not give them the mercy. So there have been things that have happened. They said you did not need to study the lost books because it was not relevant to your salvation. And then after I got done cleaning up and I went and sat down for a minute and had me some water, I clicked on TikTok and I found this just a few moments ago, and I'd like for you to hear it. And you tell me if the books that you have read, the apocalypse of this and apocalypse of that and Ezra and all of the rest of it, is relevant to your salvation, is relevant to how it is that you need to live your life. Excuse me. After listening to this man, and you can look until this about 1980, 1990, him telling his testimony. I ain't gonna share it, but the account is called Sequence. Before y'all ask, Sequence. But just listen, just tune your ear into what this man got to say. It's very interesting.
And I've got my consciousness, and that was what I saw in my body lying on the couch cushions. And I thought, oh, I'm not healed. And then I realized, well, this isn't so bad. I've got my consciousness. I feel great. Never felt this good before. But this is a problem, and I don't like it. So my first thought was, how do I get back into my body and stop this nonsense? The nearest bedroom to the The living room was my daughter Alexandra's bedroom, and so I decided, time being of the essence, I'll go there first and try to wake her up. And so I took my hand and I put it on her shoulder to try to shake her shoulder, and it went right through her shoulder, and still she didn't respond. So I walked through his door, down the hallway, back to the living room, and I was just then examining my body, trying to figure out a way to reanimate it. So I went back and figured that this is up to me, and I've got to figure this out, and I've only got a few minutes left to do it. As I was kneeling down by my body, I was actually putting my hands into the chest, trying to feel around to get some information about what the situation was I was dealing with. And it was that point when I felt this really eerie sensation. I could feel something evil approaching me. I could tell it was at a certain distance, and it was coming nearer and nearer. And as it approached, I could tell it was hatred. It was hunger, and it was something very bad. And that was when two creatures walked right through the wall of my living room, and they were not people, but they resembled people. They were about man-sized, I would say roughly about 6 foot tall. They were not clothed, but they were covered in a short black fur. They were humanoid in general appearance, in that they had 2 legs and 2 arms and a head and a face. But that's where the resemblance ended. Their ears were pointed. Their eyes were bright yellow with no pupil. And when their mouths were opening, I could see they had fangs, and they were very white. Their teeth were white, and they were sharp fangs, and they had a very bright red tongue. On their hands and feet, instead of nails, they had talons, and since they were not wearing clothes, I could tell that they had no genitalia, and they looked like so you'd expect someone to look like who had been worked very hard and underfed. So even though they had some definite muscle definition, I could see their ribs and they were kind of bony looking. And and they were both each one carried a set of manic.
Jeepers Creepers. The Book of Ezra. Baruch. Enoch. Remember, we read that God made these angels. And see, this is the issue. Before we go forward, remember, demons are going to be tortured. So demons can't torment you because they're going to be tormented as well. We've been told that. Right? But we know from the books that we read that these are COs. And God made them look scary as hell because that is a part of the torture. Remember? Torture and torment. Remember? Sequence. I ain't done yet. Hold on. So just think about all the descriptions that we have read about the people when they went certain places and what they saw and how it looked with the wild hair and the tusk and the claws and everything we done read in the lost books, because that is not in the KJV. So just listen. We ain't done. Just hear me.
In their hands were made of some kind of a gray material like steel. And as they came at me, they communicated with me. They weren't speaking, and they were projecting thoughts to me. And it was a whole jumble of all kinds of different things. It would take quite a long time to explain, all the details there. But the general sense of it was they were coming to take me to hell. They let me know that they considered me not as a person, but simply as prey. I was food and fuel for their purposes, and they also began to project to me images of what it was going to be like for me in hell, which was just mind-blowingly horrific. The worst possible situation you could imagine on Earth is not even in the same order of magnitude as the least problem in hell, and it was chaotic. It was horrible. There was going to be endless, intense pain. There was hunger. There was thirst. There was incredible.
Did we read that there's hunger and thirst? This is why when people are praying to their false idols, they put food out, they put drinks out, they put candles out, which creates heat, warmth, light. God said they're in the dark, they're hungry, they're cold. Did he not? He said everywhere there is thirst and hunger and shivering. And did he not? Didn't we read that? And then we realize, what do people give to the demons that they summon? They create a fire, which is heat, with the flame. Sometimes they let it burn 7 days or whatever else it is. Sometimes it's multiple ones. They put food out, which is something that they don't get. And remember, They was really the ones that started all the drunkenness and all of that kind of stuff, and just everything was over excessive, and the parties, the Diddy parties, they started all of that. Cain and his daughters and them, they started all of that, living up in the hills with the big beautiful houses. And remember, we read the story of Naaman. We read it. Lamech was pissed off, and her brothers was mad. Remember, we read this. That is why the same gods that ruled Babylon and and all of that back then rule Hollywood, New York, Texas, and the like, Dubai, and all of that, because they're still here. And they show you by putting their gods, the symbol. We just did the Paramount and Disney and Starlink and all of that the other day. But we've been doing that since we've been here, have we not? Yes, we went and looked at old pictures of stars and symbols, and I had y'all go back and watch Disney and look at this, and now go back and watch this movie. Now that you know what you know, go back and look and see what was right in front of your face the whole time. You got eyes, but you don't see. You got ears, but you don't hear, because you didn't go look that word up and understand what it means. You just think it's a part of the script. There's always a Lucy in all these shows. There's always a Lily, Lilith, Lucifer. There's always a Sammy, Samael. There's other names, but they all show up. You hear me? And most times, when Lucy or Lily and Sammy are in the same place, it's an eye or a triangle or something, an owl, a number of things right on the shelf. It's a piece on the wall. It's a ring they got on, an earring or something. This is programming. So when you see it, you don't think nothing about it. But now that you have signs and symbols books, now that you done went and researched where all of this stuff comes from, you can distinguish and you can say, hey, I know you think it's demons that are good, but if demons are going to be judged and thrown in hell with us, then they cannot be the torturers, because God said they're going to be tormented with us. He got CEOs there. He has angels that are for this specific purpose. They clock in and clock out. And what you feel is rage, how they say they felt rage coming from the being, or hatred. It's not hatred. It's merciless torture that he put in them. He put it in them to not have nothing when you screaming and spitting and biting your tongue and all of this and all of. He put it in them not to have no emotion with that. So it would feel like a person hated you if you're poking my eyes or whatever you're doing in what we have read, and I show absolutely no emotion. I smile. You would think that hatred is in me, but no. God just made me with no emotion when it comes to that, because I'm going to have to be doing this for eternity. So it wouldn't make no sense for him to let me have emotion. So I am an emotionless being. I don't got nothing. And it said when the people scream and holler, they go even harder. God said it's never rest in that place. It's noise and screaming and groaning and gnashing of teeth and smells and all of this. There's no rest. What would be real crazy if he made them non-hearing. They can't hear. What if he made it to where they don't hear? They can see and sense everything else, but they don't hear. Nothing, like complete silence. It don't bother them because they don't hear no screaming. They can see it, but it's like watching a movie with no sound. So it's not gonna hit the same. Is it? The sound is when you hear somebody sing, the sound vibrating in your ear activates your, what is it, erectile papilla, or whatever you call it, your hairs, your the blood, the all of that. When you hear the sound is what makes your hair stand up. You hear what I'm saying? It hit that drum in there and it activates a thing in your brain, and if you like it or if it's nervous, it stands up for different reasons. Your nerves react to sound. They make you squinch. They make you flinch. They make you turn. But if you can't hear nothing, you can kind of tell what's coming, but it don't hit the same. Yeah. Yep. I've read Divine Revelation of Hell too. My mama, I read all of that before, like 15 or 16, I promise. I don't know if she was trying to scare me out of hell or what. It was nuts. I know. They got Divine Revelation in Heaven, all of them. I didn't listen. I used to be I stayed in Harvest Books or all of them Christian bookstores, baby. I had all the accounts. I promise you. Yep, this is about to come out. I'm gonna have to put that back on. Stayed in them. I had the Strong's Concordance, Bible dictionaries. I was like 21, babe. I had all this stuff. All of it. The movies. I was I promise. Listen, I just had to have a conversation with y'all niece 2 days ago before she went to work. Not that I know of, but I could know them by another name. And I was telling her, because she works in a place where people have mental illness. I said, girl, where is your piece in the parlor? And he came and set the cap for she said, up in the closet. I said, yeah, you need to grab that. And I told her some specific pages. I said, you need to read that. Take this to work, put it in your bag. You need to anoint yourself every day when you go to work, baby. Spirits run through hospitals and places like that all day long. That's why I don't frequent those places. If I can avoid going to a hospital or something, I ain't going. I'll see you when you get home. I'll call and pray for you. I mean, if it's dire, I'm coming, but it'd be too much walking around in there. I'll be like, I gotta get out of here. Goodness gracious, y'all don't feel that? Don't nobody else in here feel that? It's somebody's spirit sitting in this chair looking at me because my hair keeps standing up. Like they might be on another floor over then wafted over here. But this is what we on. Now watch this. Let's finish. Sorry. I didn't got, listen.
Feelings of exhaustion and absolutely no relief. And they were going to images of what it was like going to be like for me in hell, which was just mind-blowingly horrific. The worst possible situation you could imagine on Earth is not even in the same order of magnitude as the least problem in hell. And it was chaotic, it was horrible. There was going to be endless, intense pain, there was hunger, there was thirst, there was incredible feelings of exhaustion and absolutely no relief. And they were going to be able to do whatever they wanted to me, and they really, 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 really hated me. They showed me people who were utterly helpless, and these demons were just in euphoric state, just these people in indescribable ways. After they would do this, the body would regenerate, and they could do it all over again, endlessly. And the people were, it was like they couldn't stop screaming. I don't know how they didn't even breathe. They just screamed, and they didn't even inhale to, scream some more. It was just a constant screaming. And there was thirst, there was absolutely mind-blowing bad thirst. There wasn't a drop to drink. And they were so tired, so exhausted, and yet there was no relief. There was no moment, not even a moment to rest. They were desperately hungry, and there was not a bite to eat for anything. And that was just the beginning. And from there, it would continue to get worse ad infinitum, as it were. Oh, I did what a rational person would say, and say, like, well, I'm a Christian, and I'm baptized. I've confessed Christ as my Savior. I've been to church. I went through the little checklist that the church had taught me was the measure of salvation. They laughed. And then they rehearsed to me a list of sins that I had never properly dealt with. At that point, I'm ready to try just about anything. And that's exactly what they were almost on me. They had their manacles. We were like nose to nose almost. And I said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And it was like a wrecking ball hit them. And they were knocked clean out of the room. And I was back to my first problem. Okay? Getting my body back. I said, now I'm very motivated, really motivated to get back in my body, and suddenly I began to feel another sensation that was like the first one, the evil one, only this one was the exact opposite. This was love and goodness. Something very, very good was approaching. And then through my front door walked Jesus Christ. And that was what I saw in my body lying on the couch cushions. And I thought, oh, I'm not healed. I'm dead. And then I realized, well, this isn't so bad. I've got my consciousness. I feel great.
Did we not read all of that? Is that not what we read? Everything that he described is in them lost books. Spelled out in detail. Is that not what was in the lost book? It's not in, it say torment and torture in the Bible. But no, we read that word for word. And here's a man that described exactly what we read. You don't think that got nothing to do with salvation? And he said, oh, I ran through all the stuff that the church said. He said, man, listen. What? To the T, Timothy. I think the lost books are very important for my salvation, as a matter of fact, because prior to reading that, I felt like if I went to church, paid my tithes, and tried to do the best thing that I could, and, was trying to tell people about God, baby, that I could have been on my way. The pastor was pleased with me. It was okay. Got to reading that stuff, and I broke down in the shower, on the side of the road, and everywhere, because I said, I'm never going to make it in if this is what it is. It helped me get rid of a whole bunch of stuff real quick. I didn't have to hold. Now, some stuff is taking longer. But, baby, I guarantee you this. It shook me up and made me change. It wasn't no more playing and kind of trying to test the waters. Oh, no, I don't want to test the waters. You can test all the waters you want to. I'm good. No, I've tested all the waters. I need to test this fine. I know how water tastes. I don't need to test it. I don't need to see if I can make it back. I don't even want to try to get out. Do whatever you want to, big and bad, go right ahead. I don't care. I don't want any parts of that, because I know the punishment for that. I know the punishment for that. I know the punishment for that. And remember, this is not in our time. This body is not going to give out. You're not going to black out. And we talked about that. We talked about when the people, right in Enoch, it says that they're going to be screaming and they're going to go even harder. This man, baby, listen, quit playing. Oh, you trying to be the best you could be in this body. This body is about to go away. But that one don't. It's going to regenerate. Remember when who remembers the class I taught when I told you when God was trying to ask me, does sin regenerate? It was right before my daughter went through her situation when she was 10, 11 years old. And he had me studying about cells and regeneration and what animals can regenerate their arms and different limbs and stuff like that. And he told me about cells being necrotic. And he was telling me about all of that. And then he said, now, sin regenerate just like this. The version of sin in the spirit is like cancer. All they need is one cell. One small, tiny cancer cell, and it multiplies very quickly and takes over whatever it's going for. You hear me? Sin is the exact same way in real life. But the crazy thing is, because we let our sin regenerate over here and we did not cut it off and eradicate it, your body on that side ain't never gonna give out for the punishment. That's why God said on this side you can never pay back the sins that you committed. And we already done looked it up, how he run them numbers. 40 days of prayer and fasting don't get rid of 1 hour of sin. Sometimes you can be in sin for 20 years. But on that side, oh yeah, you got plenty of time to pay for it. Because that body don't wear out, it don't get old, it don't get limbs and stuff in it. Oh, no. It's going to be new every morning like your mind should have been. Hold on, wait a minute, let me put my Jesus in it. You said it's going to renew every day like your sin did. It's going to get more crazy and more wild and more exciting like your sin did. I don't want no person. Because the devil say do it bigger and better. Do it big and loud in the voice of Darla Dimple. Big and loud. You gotta be big. Uh-huh. He said, yep. Them wounds gonna be big and loud too. It's gonna be real loud. And hell is enlarging itself. It's gonna be big and loud. He said you wouldn't take my rest while you was on earth, so you don't get it when you leave your body. Wait a minute. And it's so funny because the sinners, the folks that be going the hardest, I would say, I'm asleep when I'm dead. God said, ooh, liar. Actually, you won't. It's no rest on this side for the wicked. On this side or that side. Listen here, I don't know if y'all think he is fluffy or what, but I don't agree if that's what you think. They say, I'm asleep when I'm dead. He said, actually, you won't, especially if you didn't line up. He said, oh, no, honey, that was for the people that went on and went through. He said, the rest is not for the wicked. Oh, no. Your mind, I didn't let your mind rest over here because you kept getting more evil. And guess what? Ooh, it don't never go to sleep. And you heard what that man said. You got your same consciousness. So whatever stressed you out on this side and had you crazy in the mind on this side, it's going to be multiplied over there times the torture and torment. Baby, listen, who? And you're going to be hungry. And it's so funny because a lot of people that hustle be like, I'm hungry. I got to get it, bro. I got to, I got to eat. I got to, oh, okay. He said, good. You're going to be hungry and be wanting to eat for a long time. You was just, oh, I don't want no parts of it. Let me get some water. While I can, I don't know if he gonna let me in. Let me go get me some water right now. Cause he might, I'm gonna start drinking all the water I can because, listen here, I don't know. Don't nobody got time for that. I don't even want to think about it. You hear me? Mm-mm. I have to go get me some water. No, I'm gonna get some coffee. It's making, but that got water in it too. I'm gonna drink all the drinks I can. I might go get me a slushie tomorrow, cause you never know. And if I don't know if he's gonna let me in. I pray he does, but if he don't, that's why I ain't trying to run up no craziness now, cause I did a lot in my youth. You hear me? In ignorance. And I pray that that's under statute 4722A of Jesus is a part of the Alpha and Omega. So then hopefully you gonna run that through the sea of forgetfulness. But if you don't, I ain't trying to run up in there. Trying not to run up in there. Listen, I didn't know no better, but that don't mean nothing because it's his warning probably came before and you ignored it, even if it came from a stranger, a TV show, look, or whatever else. He said word and you just said, yep, no, I'm gonna hop right over that. I don't want to listen to that. I'm gonna do what I want to do as many times as I want to. He said, yeah, but it's costly. I mean, I can't stop you from doing it. And it definitely is gonna cost you. But guess what? If it's worth it for you, then you've counted up the cost and you know, then go on and move. Leap if you're froggy, as my mama used to say. Go on and leap. Go on and jump. Do it. sorry, y'all. I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it. It's like, Dad, be cool, please. He like, nah, you be cool. I done told you what I want. You do what you want with the information. It's up to you. Everybody is making their own choice. Every day is another chance. You hear me? I don't wanna. And now y'all see why when I came over here, y'all probably used to think I was crazy. Okay, now you understand. Now you understand why I be like, you can do whatever you want to. I can't stop you from doing that, but do you want to? Have you see? You don't know the cost. You don't know how much that costs. But if you knew that for every hour that you are enjoying disobeying God's word, you gotta pack 40 days of prayer and fasting. Don't get that back. You can spend an hour thinking sin. That ain't count. It ain't just what you acted out. He said, "Cause I'm gonna judge you for your thoughts." It's well, you can spend easily 60 minutes thinking crazy thoughts. Especially if a person then rubbed you the wrong way or whatever else it is, baby. 60 minutes can go and come, and you didn't listen. Listen. I To be honest with you, I love you, but y'all forgiveness ain't the forgiveness I'm looking for. I don't mean to be rude, but I mean, I hope y'all forgive me, but y'all forgiveness ain't the one that's not the one I'm looking for, pumpkin. That ain't the one that's gonna make me smile real big. I mean, I want y'all to forgive me. Don't get me wrong. If I offend you, I want you to forgive me. But baby, y'all forgiveness ain't the one I'm yearning for. Cause you can't put me over there in that place. You hear me? Like I want you to forgive me. I don't want like if I do something, okay, let me know so I can ask for your forgiveness. But baby, folks be trying to get forgiveness from people, honey, and they forget about that God is the one that forgives your sins. And cause people keep trying to make you feel guilty for something try to amend 1,000 times. No, I'm not playing with you. Yeah. You ain't about to, cause you, listen, leave me alone. Moving on. Oh, and I want to say this, because I did watch I did not watch the whole thing, but I watched a lot of it. I want to make a correction, and this is why I don't go back, because sometimes I'll be whatever. Anyway, I said February that I went to Florida. It wasn't. It was March. Y'all know my birthday. But my sister called me in February and said we're going in March. So that was the deal. But I went back. I was like, it ain't February. But I remember that I was meaning to say we went in March, which was my birthday. But she called me in February. I separated in January. That was the whole reason I was telling y'all that story. That's why I said 3 months. But anyway, I wanted to clear that up because I was like, yeah, that's not. But technically, she called me in February. And, we went in March. So there was that. Moving on. Something else I want to play for y'all. And I just want y'all to tell me if we had a class about it or not. Okay? Can you do that? Will you be able to do that for me? Are y'all ready? For round 2. Are you ready?
Breaking news tonight out of Russia. Putin just called on his citizens, urging them to refrain from traveling to the United States. So this announcement didn't come long after earlier today when Ukraine bombed inside of Russia again, using United States supplied attack missiles. So
we talked about it. Did we talk about restricted travel? And always going on the Customs and Border Patrol website and going to the Homeland Security website before you be traveling out of town and see what's going on. Did I ever ask y'all to do that? I said to everybody, these are two websites you definitely want to check and see what they're saying about tourism there and Blase Skip. Did we talk about it? We also talked about folks restricting travel and saying where you probably shouldn't go. We talked about that, right? Did we? Okay.
So this is currently the scene at Mimim Air Base, which is the Russian air base in Syria that they had a ton of troops and a ton of forces at in Syria supporting the regime while they were there. And there's been all these trucks pouring into Mimim Air Base over the past day or so, and they've got all these cargo planes taking off from there, like taking all their stuff back to Russia. They are evacuating the country currently, and you can see all the different vehicles pass by constantly. Apparently, the HTS are standing guard outside of the air base, and they're just hanging out there. And from what I've been hearing, they've been communicating with some of the Russians as they are going into the base, and all the Russians are saying, "Yep, we're leaving. We're pulling out." It never.
Strategy. Have we not had classes about this very thing? I said, oh boy, pulled out, but first he went in there and got a whole bunch of cleared stuff out the way. So when he ran play 2, he could go straight in. He already had his optics going. He could get to right to where he needed to go. Did we talk about it? Did we? We even talked about the holiday. We talked about the holiday. I said they might let us get through the Christmas, but get your stuff before the end of December. Get your stuff before the end of December. You know what? It was a lady, a crazy lady, that be on that TikTok stuff. And in January of 2024, she said, make sure before December you have everything you need. I ain't telling y'all not to travel. I ain't telling y'all not to this. But by the end, and this was in January of 2020. Y'all know that lady? Do you know her? Do you? Y'all know a lady that said that in January of 2024? Don't get to the end of the year and don't have your stuff because it might be hard to get, too expensive. Blah, 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 blah. Before December 31st, these are things you need to have in your house. She looked like me. I think I might have seen her before. I think she might have come across one of my other social medias or something. Interesting. What T.S. Madison say? A bitty bitty bumba. Cause that's what I'm feeling about right now. Right now, right now, right now, right now. A beady beady bumba. I said, I know you think I'm crazy, but in a little while, you'll need these things, and you will be able to smile. Oh, soon, soon, soon. These things will come to pass. Oh, wait. Forget all their sass. Get to getting, get your stuff, do it right now. Like what? Come on in then. You said you gonna be alright. I said you gonna be happy in a minute. Let them call you crazy. Let them say you are a conspiracy theorist and everything else, baby, because you will not feel the same in a little while. Come on. Come on. The news is saying what God told us 3 years ago. Did he not? He even told us who to go study, who to go look at. Who remembers us studying the forefathers of the Russians? Anybody? Remember when we were studying the migrants and the Russian culture? We was looking up all the names and this and that. Y'all remember? You remember, Riz. Y'all remember when we looked up the forefathers of the Syrians? Y'all know we studied that? We studied the forefathers of the people in Israel, not the fake Romans that's there, the real ones. We studied them. We studied the ancient Mayans and Aztecs and the Inca, and the Inca. Y'all remember? Y'all remember we studied all of the types of metals and all of the different types and the chemical compounds in the metals. Can I ask you what China and Canada just said to us? What was they talking about? Was they talking about all the different sorts of metals? Canada and China. Is they talking about what metals we ain't gonna be able to get or no? Is they? Huh? Did we have class about the metals and what the metals are used for and what the lightest metals are and what the heaviest and most durable metals are? Did we study any of that here at WOIU? Did we? And now, all of those things are in the worldwide news right now, all over the TV, all over the worldwide news. They're talking about it. You know, it's a very good thing. I mean, you know, Tara. You should be paying attention over there, not over. We had a class on it recently, and we had a class on it when we first started this, when we were going through the layers of the earth and the different systems, you know, as far as rain and water, when we studied all of those different things, and we studied molecules and atoms, and well, we studied all of that. We studied about the ocean water and, you know, the different things about the salt in one, and we and what kind of animals can live in, but we went through all of that. Who remembers us going down and looking at the list of how deep the oceans really were? And us talking about, because we were studying on Leviathan, them not being able to get down there really to the bottom. And then we found out that the bottom wasn't the bottom. And now that we found out that the bottom wasn't the bottom, now they said that, oh, deeper in the ocean, there's a whole different world down there, fresh water, this and that, other species that we don't know about. And then all of a sudden, aliens start coming out of the water. Do you all remember? So every random class we had is not so random 35 months later. As a matter of fact, God was pointing us into the direction of what we would be seeing on our devices shortly. Worldwide news. We studied about the spaceships that were on all the hieroglyphics and all of the different, and the petroglyphs and all of these different things all over the world. We studied that, did we not? And we talked about how they made stone with different magnetic pools and stuff. We talked about how they traveled. We studied all of it. I said, where? Please tell me, where did they get? It's gotta be in my room. Really? Interesting. It's in my room. Because it's not in here. Really? Hold on, y'all. It's gotta be on the side of my bed. Wait a minute. Remember when we first started and I pulled out this book? Remember? And everybody was like, oh, whatever, it wasn't no flying ships. I said, how they get aerial maps then? These are all old maps in this book. And then a lot of the other books that I got. And I said, honey, these are aerial maps. We just got drones however long ago for them to be able to map certain areas because they wasn't able to go up high enough or whatever it was. So please tell me how they was drawing aerial maps 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago if there was not a flying saucer or a drone. Y'all remember? I said one of the reasons I always love maps is if people couldn't fly back then, how was they drawing aerial maps? This is something I didn't call it an aerial map back then, but I just always paid attention. Well, if we just made airplanes, because these maps, they taught us that this is what an aerial map looked like. This is what they taught us that in school. So then why is we looking at this like they didn't have to be high up in the air for that mountain to be this big? And they got the whole terrain from a up view, make that make sense. But then when I go back and I look where I'm looking, I see that they had devices that allowed them. God said, even with their tower, they would have almost made it to heaven if he didn't come and get in the way. You made it to the door of another dimension? Interesting. God himself said they would have almost made it. They was good. But their daddies was angels, so they could give them the roadmap. They knew where all the portals was to shoot down like Thor and them do. So, yeah, it could work. They know the lightest metals. That's why they was able to make them helmet space masks, because their daddies used to roam the heavens. They was there when God was making certain metals and knowing what it was going to be used for. They have swords and shields and battle gear themselves. They have sleighs that can chariots that are light enough to come down, and in the blink of an eye, you don't hear the horses or nothing. If you ain't looking, you don't see them. Well, what kind of metal was that? Because you believe that the chariot came down and got Elijah. You believe that. The chariot of horses, you believe it if you read the word. So what kind of metal can traverse the heavens? Tell me. You mean like a spaceship? Spaceships traverse the heavens. What kind of metal do they use for that? And to be able to propel in a moment, and then once you lose gravity, to still be able to move around, what kind of metal they using? Oh, well, some of their daddies was here and knew that they're in here. And if there's nothing new under the sun, I mean, they've been in the heaven. That's how they had aerial maps. That's how they had no kids, too. We know from all of the movies that crystals can let you talk to people and go places. And, oh, you can track people with crystals. But that's what they use in our phone. That's what you're looking at me at through a crystal ball. And if nothing new is under the sun, and they always then showed us, even with the Jetsons, they was already telling us, if I pick up that globe back there, I can see crystal, liquid crystals. I'll be able to see you, you'll be able to see me. That's how you see me right now. I'm not at your house, but I'm at your house. You can hear, you can see me. Interesting. Ain't that what they told us happened with a crystal ball? Yes. They could see aerial, they could go into the room. You mean like Google Maps? Oh. So Google Maps been a thing. It just used to be through a crystal ball. Oh, but it still is, because in order to go on Google Maps, you got to go to your computer, your TV, your phone, or your iPad, or even your GPS on your thing. It's liquid crystal display. So either way it go, we still using old technology. Moving on. Okay. If it ain't no mountain around, how you doing this? That means how you get that's an aerial map. I know you know that's an aerial map, right? You know that. You see how little you can see the mountain range. How do you know this if you're not up in the air? How? This map is from 1576. Let's find an older one. 1775. 1695. This is one of the earliest maps of the Holy Land created in Hebrew and was engraved in Amsterdam by Abraham Bar Jacob, a convert to Judaism. Something about, so this was the early 18th century. Okay, so this 16. I'm just saying. Do you feel what I'm saying? Okay, this is like 1154. And I believe it's like BC. You said it looked like what? That looks like the map on Lord of the Ring. Okay. When is this one from? Islands at the World's End. This is running from Iberia down to the coast of West Africa. The Nile's origin, Central Asia. Well, a distant sea, Indian Ocean. An imaginary southern continent. And a chorionic geography. So they knew about Iberia, West Africa, of course. And then they knew the Nile. They knew Central Asia. They knew the Indian Ocean. They knew this place. And then they already have been to Asia. It says the picture of the world, a popular historical chronicle by the theologian Honorius Augusta Denises from 1080 to 1154. And he's showing some angels with Gog and Magog, Egypt, Ethiopia, Delos, and Celia, and then Paradise. Interesting. BC. Interesting. Look, look, look. Is that not is that not an aerial map? They show the angels talking to Gog and Magog. Interesting. So again, man, how did they know if they wasn't able to get up and see it? Is my question to you. If all of this is new, how did they do it before drones? Tell me. Because all the old maps is a lot of them is aerial maps. Most of them is aerial maps. It is called Great Maps by the Smithsonian. You know they got the goods. Great Maps. You can get it on Amazon. I believe that's in the Amazon store, but I can't tell you which one it's in. It's called Great Maps by the Smithsonian. Beautiful book. And another one that you should probably get is Battle Maps. Battles. That's so crazy because it's weird. Battles map by map. So it tells you about all the old wars all the way back to where, and it mentions all the people in the Bible. When they be trying to say the Bible ain't a real story, but well, the Smithsonian believes so. Because they got the battles with this in our Bible listed right here. With the Hittites and the Jebusites right here. Battles by map. Or battles map by map is in the Smithsonian. In real life, it say before 1000 CE. They talk about the period up to 1000 CE saw the dawn of organized warfare. Interesting. And then you can go in the Bible and see. But it says here, in 1500 BCE, horse-drawn war chariots are used throughout the Middle East. 1274 BCE, the Egyptians and Hittites fight in an inconclusive chariot battle at Kadesh. So if the Bible ain't real, why is that the first wars in the timeline? And we know what happened when that happened, because the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Rephaim, all of them got on. Their daddies was here. The 200 angels, this is when wars started going crazy because they taught them how to make shields and knives and swords, all from Enoch. We know that. They were also the rulers that were trying to conquer the land, and the gladiators and the men of renown. They were the giants. And they were taking over the land. They were taking all of people's sheep and eating them. And Great maps. Great maps. So, you don't have to believe in the Bible, but it sure is playing out just like it did before. It's playing out like it did at the Tower of Babel. What's that say? Now look at this. In use in China as early as the 10th century, gunpowder-based weapons developed gradually. You hear me? They been. Even before they told us, but we know that because they was doing alchemy and they was making stuff explode. We know this. When it said the earth was scorched, burned, nothing would grow because the air had become so toxic. Is that not what nuclear stuff does? Is that not what biochemical warfare does? It ruins the land, right? There's places in Asia where they fought different, like Hiroshima and different places like that, that the land is still so toxic nothing will grow. Right? It's toxic to even be over there. Ain't that what happened with Chernobyl? Huh? Is it? And there's other places. So nothing new is happening right now. Everything that's happening right now already did. Except for this whole, I mean, there's a few things that are going to happen, but for the most part, it's all been here before.
With some of the Russians as they are going into the base, and all the Russians are saying, yep, we're leaving, we're pulling out, we're getting everybody out of here, we're going back to Russia, we're pulling all of our equipment out, and then they're going to shut the air base down. So this is, we've seen this kind of thing in other locations before, but I don't think I've ever seen the Russians evacuating in quite this way. I mean, we knew this was coming, obviously.
Did you all go watch the documentaries that I asked y'all to watch about WW2? Did y'all? And the depression. Good job. Okay. Well, if you paid attention to the documentaries about how this all started and what the moves were, you'll pay attention to what just happened. You'll know exactly what part of the flick we're in right now. Oh, you new here. Okay, Pumpkin, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you had been here for a while or not. Okay. I'm sorry about that. If you haven't, you need to. Okay. Well, mainly the ones about how it all started and the strategy. I told y'all, pay attention to the strategy that he uses, because you're going to see it in a minute. And that's one of the plays right there. No joke. And then right after that, bow, 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 bow. I said, oh, okay. Give me 1 second. I said, ooh, that was in the show. Sorry, y'all. Still feel crazy about the stuff you've been doing in the last 3 years, 2 years, 18 months since you've been here? You don't feel so crazy now, do you? For real. Do you feel crazy now? Do you feel like a conspiracy theorist now? Do you feel like you was I mean, even down to the hazmat suits. Do you feel like you was... Do you feel it? You feel very sane, as a matter of fact, don't you? I know you feel grateful for God, because He didn't have to tell you everything that was going to happen, what countries to be paying attention to. He didn't have to go into detail like that with us, but we chose to go into detail, so He gave us the details. That's why a lot of the people that keep talking about what they don't got to worry about don't even know what's going on, baby. They don't have no idea. They running behind and they ain't moving to the news thing, which is exactly what He even told us that was going to happen, did He not? They ain't going to start preparing until the news tell them to. No matter how many signs He been showing them, they not going to start to prepare until the news say it's a problem, and now people are preparing. Are they not? I mean, this is now pastors just talking about you might want to get you a little something to tide you over just in case till the Lord come get us. When everything is super expensive, when people barely got money to buy groceries and pay their bills. You weren't saying that when the COVID money was flowing. You was telling them they didn't have to worry about it. That's what you was telling them. And go on and give big, because God gonna let you get it. And now that everything is super expensive, might be harder to get. Now you're telling them to prepare, right? Maybe y'all should have been reading them books that y'all said wasn't good for no salvation, because it showed what got us ready. No? Ain't that what just started you to get in your heart right? Reading that God is gonna put all your business out in front of everybody. That I know that helped. The way y'all talk about second Baruch, baby. I know it shocked your spirit, huh? Listening to merciless torture and actually going through and looking up what torture means and torment and this and what that is. Even today. Some folks didn't realize that they've been a Laban their whole life. And wonder why whenever they get on their feet, the bottom always fall out the bottom of, whatever they trying to do, because you've been a Laban and not a Jacob. But you learned today, so you can do better. Some folks learned that they was messy, wasn't a good friend, whatever. It's a whole bunch of eye-openers that then got you ready to meet your maker so that you could change, and you changed. But you had to have a real life realization with yourself of this is why this. Now, yeah, how many times you've been in class saying, oh my God, that's why that happened to me. That's why I lost my job. That's why I lost my car. That's why this happened. That's why that happened. That's why I went to jail. Oh my God, if I would have known, blah, 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 blah. How many times you said if you would have known since you've been over here? More times than you can probably count. And this is why God said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. They losing out with their soul. They losing out with their job, their husband, their wife, their children, because they don't have the information. It's a lot of people that's claiming to be Christians right now that are not prepared. God forbid if something did happen tragically over here, baby, we seen it with North Carolina. We seen it with Florida. We seen it with Tennessee. We seen it. Or South Carolina, wherever it is, we seen it. We seen it in Texas. No, there's not a complete Bible. God said, you realize they said it ain't even God, even just the miracles and stuff that Jesus did, there's no book that's big enough to contain it. But he did give us bits and pieces. And a lot of your Bible is in a lot of your mythology, and a lot of people don't know it because when they don't pay attention to when the Bible said and people started to spread out over the earth and multiply, they just skip right over there and just go right back to Israel in the Middle East. They don't really go and study where Lot's children went and Abraham's other kids, and that he was the father of the Hindu Indians that we see now. Brahma is Abraham. They don't go study that. So then they don't go looking in Indian culture for the rest of the Bible. They think it's only going to be right here. But if you know that Abraham was the father of many sons, then you'll go looking at what it said his sons and daughters' names was and looking for that information, and you can find a lot more of the Bible there, because just like how the Israelites had to go into Egypt and then they went into Babylon and then they was taken by the Syrians and was over there, they didn't quit writing down the journal and the miracles and stuff God did for them just because they had to go speak another language. Because it literally tells us that they would give them a Babylonian name or an Assyrian name. And so then we would need to go look in Assyrian text to see what happened, because they have a record of it too. They just ain't gonna have the same name. So you'll have to find out what the name of them was once they went into, just like black folks over here. They had African names, Kunta Kinte, and then they was called Sally and George. So anybody would think that, oh, it started right here. Well, no, that's not where it started. What was their name before they got on the boat? You would have to start there. And then you'll know who is who and what is what and where they was at and what they was doing and all of that. You hear me? Oh, yeah, it's real. Because even, it's one of the simplest things, if you like Thor, you like Marvel and the superhero stuff, just go get this book right here. Sorry. In the first 3-4 pages after the, what's the name? Is the biblical cities listed in here, family? This book right here, Norse mythology. You would never believe it. And it's hidden right in plain sight, is it not? Ain't it, y'all? Hidden in plain sight. Because if I open this book up, that's supposed to be mythology. You remember that Abraham and all them folks had to go into the city of Ur, Canaan, and all of that, and what's the other one? Jericho, with the walls. They was big and tall, and then they had God was always talking about the people from the north and all of that, and they came down and did all this. Okay, like north is like Russia and Europe and all of that, right? Oh, okay. They talked about the kings coming from the east. Well, if you go get you a world map and lay it out flat, you'll see where Asia and all of that is on the side of Israel, which way it's going. It all lines up. But the giants are called the mountain builders or the mound builders. And even on this page here, I know it's backwards, but you see it say the giant builders or the giant builder. Interesting. They built the monolithic structures all around the world, even the blocks in Jerusalem. Well, the demons helped do that too. But here in the introductory chapter, they mention the city of Erd, U-R-D. It's really Erd from the Bible. They also mentioned that the Nephilim lived in Asir. A-E-S-I-R. If you go look that up, that's all through like the Egyptian culture. There's a name that's there. The A-E is for the Egyptians. Like even this old map, when I got it, Egyptians, it had A-E first. Like the name of Elon Musk's son. Moving on. And it talks about the Nephal or the Nephilim that lived there, but they don't spell it P-H. It's F-L-H-E-I-M. We know from the Bible that the Nephilim lived in Ur. And the Rephaim and the Zamzumins and the the Anunnaki and the sons of Anak, all the different ones. It's like it was 200 races of giants that lived in that area in the mountainous regions, and then they spread out. These people became the Vikings and all of that, but they were originally from the Middle East. Also, another book where you can kind of get some information. this one right here was 2. I just pulled this down yesterday, I think, or the other day. I always forget if it's the gold one or the black one. I think it's the gold. Yes. Thank you, Dad. Mm-hmm. This book right here is called Gods, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes. Now, the name of the last book. Norse mythology. Okay, so honey, you don't know this, but I hate repeating myself. So we record on YouTube. It's CERCA TROVA 22. You don't know that, but that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, you gotta listen the first time, but you knew, so I'm gonna give you your breaks. But we record on YouTube. Anything that you miss, anything that you miss, you can hop on YouTube right now, go in the live and rewind, and you can get all the names. You can slow it down, take the picture, whatever you need to do. That's why, because I would be repeating myself all this whole class. Yeah, or screenshot that. Got y'all. So that's why we record on YouTube. So anything you miss, you can just go with me. You can do it while I'm on here. They didn't tell me. That's why I don't be, when they be asking what we reading, I don't be telling them, because they the ones that told me that I've been repeating myself way too long. They could have been and went over there, caught up with the class, and then came back. They ain't got to worry about it no more. They ain't got to worry about nothing. No, because we had to make a whole shirt about it, and these niggas knew the whole time. Anyway, see this? See this? See this? See this right here? You see what that say? Egyptians right there in the middle. You see it, that AE? You see it? You see it? Right? Now this is supposed to be Greek mythology. Right. But if I go back, see? Highest of all was Asgard, the home of the Aesir, or gods. Interesting. And the Nephal, the Nephilim. And they lived in Ur, or in Erd. This is Norse mythology. You see the AE there for us here? This is actually Mount Hermon. Right? So you saw that AE, and then you come over here to Greek mythology, and Egyptians is spelled AE. And then, I'll show you something real quick, and then we're going to be done with this. Because this is all in a lot of my first classes. We did this a lot in the first year. But I'll be trying to tell people where they can find the rest of the Bible at. This book right here. Please screenshot if you can. And I'll need you to screenshot this as well, please. Oh, excuse me. See right here. Right under where it says Mitzrayim. And then it says Nimrod in Chaldee or Babylon, the Chaldeans. See right there where it says, instead of the Chaldaic, the Greek names of the kings of Babylon and Assyrian are herein given as they are most commonly found and used. So when I'm reading in Greek about the gods, Juno, Jupiter, Neptune, and Vulcan, and all of them, Uranus and all, I'm actually reading about the Chaldeans and the Babylonians, or the Assyrian and Babylonian kings. Well, that makes sense, because that's where they was using all the names AE and all of that. That's also where the angels went down in there and tap danced on the real human women's wombs and made giants, is what Genesis says. So right here, right there, over Juno, right next to there. You see it say Babylon or Chaldee, and then the Assyrian and Babylonian kings. It's right there. So anytime you're reading about a Greek god, a Norse god, a Japanese god, a Chinese god, all of that, in our reality, you're reading about the people that God said spread out and conquered the earth and blase skip and whoopty wop. That's actually who you're reading about. So you could be reading Japanese culture and still reading the Bible. You could be reading Norse mythology and you're still reading about the angels, and all the wars that we read about in the Bible. You're just literally reading about the cultures of people that God said left Africa and spread out. Well, they using all the same stories, all the same names, all the same everything. Not because they copied them, because they are them. And that's why the wars that they fought, it's good to go and study that, because then you'll actually understand why the Japanese have a record of Solomon or the wars that were going on between. Just like right now, our news gets reported in Japan. The Japanese know what's going on in the war climate. The same thing happened back then, and they're making a record of it, that the king from such and such came and visited him, and he asked him if he's going to have. We literally watched it in Game of Thrones. Well, war has broken out in the Seventh Kingdom and blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing. So when you go and you're researching, you should be able to put all the pieces together, because it's all the same story. These people were out, and let me show you one last thing. Just so you know I'm not crazy. Put that there. Look here, down at the bottom. Okay, let's go back at the top first. This is the bloodlines. Well, not all of them, but the ones that they tell you about in the Bible for the most part. So you see Cain, Adam, Eve, Enoch, Seth, which is the son of, not the one that saw the giants. This is the son of Cain. Okay, and then these are all the bloodlines, right? Everybody breaking down who, right? The kids. Still more bloodlines. Mahaliel and all of that. Noah, Shem. We done got a couple generations down. And then a couple more generations is breaking off Shem. This is after the flood, right here. Ooh, this book is big, y'all. After the flood, right here. Okay, so this is the flood. And it shows you right there Noah's deluge. The deluge, it shows the different dates that each culture lists that the flood happened. Right here. See that? Oh! Hold on. Trying not to break my book. See that? Hebrew Bible, Playfair, Clinton. They give different, they all BC. But all, Josephus, the Septuagint, which is the Greek, all of it, you see? And we, right? Our calendar is different from the Ethiopian calendar right now. It could be a different time in different places in the world right now. We know this. So they're recording time differently. But, back to this. Okay. Down here at the bottom, this is the Tower of Babel. Y'all see it. Look, see what it says right there? Fohi, or Yao. Guess who that is? Noah. See that? It says China founded by the Fohi, or Yao, supposed to be the Noah of the Bible. So if you go and you're reading about a dude named Foy, I don't know how to say that, or Yao, and it's talking about a flood story, they didn't copy it. Because it said after Noah got off the boat, he went around to see. And he gave land to his kids. You take this area, you take that area, you take that area. So this all lines up. But if you think, they were not. No, everybody was living at the same time, as a matter of fact, because this is after the flood. So let's go. After the flood, okay, and Tower of Babel, then boom. All of these people was living at the same time. You see that? It's all the different bloodlines. Greece was living when the Egyptians was living. The Israelites, Phoenicia, all of these people was alive. All the different Chinese dynasties and Japanese dynasties. Okay, boom. They showing you when they started. But they was all alive at the same time. And the lines just keep going. Because after all the different lines, and they keep getting smaller and smaller, because more people started being born in different lines, and started shows you when all the people started. And it just keeps getting smaller, because here we come. There go Jesus right there at the top. Y'all see him? Start showing you the buildings and whatnot. When the Romans came through and the Roman Empire, what was going on? All the way. Whew. Denmark is showing you when Spain and all of these folks and where they came from. France, all the way up until, look, 1154. You see this? England, Austria. You said, but many started worshiping false gods. Well, let me tell you what they actually did. They started to deify people. Now, Kelly, I gotta tell you something, babe. Well, first, let me ask you a question. Did you ever watch any of the idols, like American Idol, or are you a Real Housewives person? Y'all remember when you used to be able to vote for who you wanted to be the best idol? Y'all remember when you could text to vote for your favorite idol? You remember that? You can still do it sometimes now, even if it's a Christian artist. You know what you just made them? Who's your favorite idol? Text now 000254. Who's your favorite idol? And folks was texting and paying $3.97 to. The same way our favorite country music artist or rap star person, we go see their concert and we passing out and hyperventilating and, oh my God, we only supposed to be like that about God. We have idols in our own life, and they are regular people. Some people idolize their pastor. Pastor can't do no wrong. Pastor, baby, we get pastor and this and that and all of this. We do the same things they did. Oh, well, that's not how we do it in our church because our bishop started it like this. But what do God want to happen? Do God want some change in here, seeing as how it keeps getting emptier and emptier and my people was running back like... Y'all don't think that the Trump supporters idolize him? And a lot of them say they Christian. But they will do exactly what the Bible says not to do, which is spew hate towards their neighbor. Want their neighbor to feel pain or to be without or to not have as much. But I love Jesus and Jesus loves me, but you don't love your neighbor. And God say, whatever you do to the least of them, you have done it to me. So if you yell out your car and call me a nigga, if you treat me and my family badly when we come in your store, You treated Jesus the same way, but you love him. If a person can sway your view on how you treat people, God is not the author of your life. Unless it's for you, they swaying you for you to treat people better. No matter how many times you call yourself a Christian, you say you're a good person, you go to church, you do this, that, and the other, it's going to show in your life. Period. But a lot of people don't take the time to study or even get outside of what they've always been told. So then they can't really see. That's why a lot of folks that go to church right now don't know that we in the tribulation. They still ain't, and this is why God said a lot of them gonna take the mark, because they gonna say, God, I had to feed my kids, and God, I didn't know. He said, well, I was telling you. If I told you it was gonna be famine, that means you were supposed to get food. If I told you the water was gonna be bad, that means you were supposed to figure out a way to clean your water. If I told you it wasn't gonna be no clothes and wasn't nobody gonna be working and the economy was gonna crash, you shouldn't have been wasting no money. You should have been stocking up so that way when things go bad, you already have what you need. You said I didn't see the map of Negro land in Judah. You didn't look. But you can look online. Just look up the Adams map of history or chart of history, and you can see it. You can blow it up big and everything. You'll be able to go step by step. You can run over to my YouTube and see it. The book, the name, everything right now. If you go over and just go back about 6 minutes, you're welcome. Just go to this live and rewind about 7 minutes. We at 104, so maybe 90 minutes, the 90-minute mark, fast forward to that, and it'll probably be right there for you. Yeah. Yep. So I hope and pray that even if you felt like you were scatterbrain when you first came here studying, you happy we did our brainstorm type learning. Right? Aren't you happy we did the brainstorm? Because we weren't trapped in just one area of focus. God, or focused on one area of learning. God literally ran every single thing down that was going to be on the news to us. Hey, Pumpkin, you hear me? From gas masks to water filter, everything. There's nothing that has been in the news in the last 3 years that he didn't cover. He told us about the floods. He told us about he told us about everything. I keep experiencing life review, which inspires me to change. Come on. That being said, I ain't gonna do it. Nope. I ain't gonna do it. Go get you some books on mythology. They got them at Half Price Bookstore. If you got kids, they talking about closing down the Department of Education. So I suggest you hit every Goodwill, Salvation Army, free bookstore, book boxes, and everything that you can. You'll want to grab all of that about as many subjects: maps, dictionaries, world books, Encyclopedia Britannica if you can, all of that. Science, archaeology, biology, plant physiology, abnormal psychology, European cabinetry, You might want to get a couple thesauruses and Bible companions and Grimm's fairy tales and the Iliad, things on Buddhism, Hinduism, Mohammedanism, and Confucius, or the Gospel of Judas, angelic signs. Learn Greek in 30 minutes a day. All of that. Come on. Come on. You said I lost a lot of things in the fire, but my books, gas mask, and water purifier and straws. Because God, you was obedient. Thank you. You was obedient. See, people don't understand. Why would he listen? It probably was some stuff tied to some of the other stuff, maybe some emotions, God letting you start over free. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, the fact that all of that, your books, your gas mask, your water purifier, and your straws, all of your survival stuff was safe is mind blowing to me. Mind blowing. And I believe it. Funny how we would have class, then 2 months later, it would show up on the news. We ain't even making it 2 months. We ain't been making it 2 months for a long time. Sometimes as soon as we have the class, within class or within a day or two, sometimes it ain't even that long, 10 hours, and it be what it is. It's getting spookier. That we was just talking about that the other day, how it's happening faster, and that's a little bit more spooky. Is it not? When it was far, far away and it wasn't all happening at one time, we was cool. Like, okay, we got. You said y'all better listen. And now it's like, look, I just showed y'all. We just.
I was on the phone with my OEM team, and we now have guidance coming from the state. And that guidance does say two different things. First of all, if there is a downed drone in our vicinity, we are immediately to call the bomb squad of our county. And second, our fire department has been instructed to make sure they wear hazmat suits.
So if something falls out of the sky that people have seen, and some of these things are as big as an SUV, if that happens, you're to treat this more than a plane crash. It's treated like an attack on the homeland?
That is correct, because they're not quite sure if there's a payload or not. I was on the phone with my OEM team, and we now have guidance coming from the state. And that guidance does say two different things. First of all, if there is a downed drone in our vicinity, we are...
Do we have hazmat suits? I saw that, Tremaine. They said they about to do what? They about to, Canada talking about if folks don't get it together, ain't gonna be no lights. 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 Them contractions is coming back. God told us already. Did he or did he not tell us? He did. He told us that you wasn't going to be able to ship stuff from one place to another. You hear me? Amazon. You hear me? Did he not? Did he not tell us? He said parcel ain't going to be moved. He told us that in 22. It's a 22. Pew, pew, pew. Honey, sure did. Didn't he? He said the air quality wasn't going to be no good, didn't he? It is lighting off my body. It'll light off water, too. Agua. It will light off water. Let me demonstrate for you. Honey, you take water, H2O, aqua. Pour a drop, honey. You take your towel, honey. And you take your light bulb, honey. And you have light, honey. You can put it in the ground, honey. And it work, honey. You don't have to be in the dark, honey. It's rechargeable, honey. Your kids don't have to be scared, honey. You don't have to stub your toe, honey. This will stay wet for a minute, honey. I mean, or you could listen to the pastors and give them all your money and then be in the dark, honey. You can believe that you don't have to prepare because it's going to be food, honey. You can have to stumble around in the dark like folks been doing with their spiritual life, honey, or you can come to the light, honey. You choose. Choose ye this day, honey. Let me quit messing with y'all. Honey, you ain't got to be in the dark. You don't have to. You choose it. You hear me? Water. Water. All you need is water. Dirty or clean, it's going to work. Excuse me. Where are you buying those rechargeable light bulbs for? You're going too far. Don't spend my money on no more of that survival stuff. You better quit listening to that lady CERCA. She's making you turn. I'm not going to say it again. We don't need all this stuff. What are you doing buying gas masks? What do you think's going to happen? The food is not going anywhere. You're overreacting. There's always going to be food. Baby, I think the food ain't going to be no good. We had a class and God was telling us that it's a famine. It ain't going to be no food and the food ain't going to be no good and we need to buy it before it get too expensive. No. And now those same blueberries are $45. They were $13 about 2 years ago. So you can only get one little can for about $50 when you could have got 3 2 years ago. If they... God forbid, if all of the drones that we've been seeing over every single state in America dropped a type of toxic gas, how many Americans do you think have these? I have a YouTube, CERCA TROVA 22. That's the most, because I don't have a certain time. We have drones flying in our air day and night now. And they're starting to spray stuff. Are they not? People have caught them spraying things from high up in the air. But you got called crazy for buying this. And now 35 or 18 months later, we have drones in our skies 24 hours a day. And now they are spraying stuff in the air. But you got crazy 12 months ago, 24 months ago. Some of y'all almost 36. But buying these for everybody in your house, even the dog. And 2 years later, almost 3, we got drones, aliens, somebody spraying stuff in the air. People are shooting them down. We talked about the pandemonium and chaos that could possibly come our way. We talked about it. We talked about not being able to go outside because the air quality is not going to be good. And we talked about don't try to grow outside, grow inside. Because if they put something in the air, it's going to be in your vegetables. Did we talk about it? Did we? And we talked about that in 22 when people kept telling me, you can do this. And I said, well, what if this happened? Oh, and now it's happening. I said, what if they start spraying stuff in the air? That's exactly what I used to say all the time. And now the drones are spraying stuff in our air. Literally. We don't know what it is, and they're not going to tell us. But did God not tell us they was going to be spraying stuff in the air? Oh, I saw that. I saw it. So, I'm just going to say, you say if anyone needs a gas mask for a toddler, use a lady's bra folded up and science goggles. There you go. A lady's bra folded up and science goggles for little toddlers. So, excuse me. I want y'all to understand that if you thought that I was overreacting 2 years ago, it's because I knew this was coming. I just didn't know exactly, like, I couldn't pinpoint the date, but God pretty much ran it down to us almost. Like, He gave us a certain time limit, and all those things have happened. We are seeing all of it. We've seen the giants, we've seen the mermaids, we've seen the dragons, we've seen the crevices opening up in the ground, we've seen the floods, we've seen the fires, we've seen the food messing up, we've seen the animals belly up in the oceans and leaving their natural. That's something else. Somebody tagged me in a video, and who remembers our class about the animals coming into the city? And we saw the rhino was over in like India or something that was chasing the man. Then somebody just sent me a video today. It was a whole bunch of wild turkeys and some deers and stuff all congregating together. And then there's other videos of all of these animals that are in places that they shouldn't be. And we had classes about that in 22. The guy said at the end times, when stuff started getting crazy, the animals was going to come out of the fields and all of that, and they was going to be running around in the cities. And in a minute, he said they was going to start attacking people. Well, interesting, because that rhino was trying to go ham on that man in India or where Japan, wherever they was at, that. And we had those classes 2 years ago. And it's happening. Everyone's like, what's wrong with the animals? We studied about how the animals know. Remember the flood? We did the story recently about the flood. And I asked y'all, well, if God told Noah to put the animals up, and the day after he showed them, the animals was all there, how long did the polar bears? They had already been on a journey. The birds that came from wherever they came from, it said all the animals of the earth came. Well, the animals had been traveling for months to get to him. But the next day after God told him the animals is going on a boat, they was there. Well, polar bears didn't just zap over there. They had been traveling. They had been migrating. All the birds, all the frogs, all the whoever went on that boat. Everything had been migrating. So the animals had been migrating so that when God told him, hey, let them on, everybody was there on the same day. They all came from all over the earth. The lizards and the whatever's in the cold, whatever's in the hot, whatever's in wherever, they all came, but they all showed up on the same day. They had to start leaving just like us. If we all flying to Texas, some folks ain't gonna have to go nowhere. Some folks are gonna have to travel a long way because we all ain't in the same place. You said you're right. I never looked at it that way. Yeah, the animals knew months and months and months because they had to travel to be there. Because it was literally, he asked them, he said the next day, put the animals on the boat. The ones that been down, we read the story. The ones that been down, with the what. Well, if they all showed up on the same day and was ready to load, that means they have been traveling for a long time. And they always say, the leaves, if it's gonna rain, they turn up. Certain trees, it's gonna rain because the leaves turn up. The earth starts to react to what's coming. We the only ones don't be paying attention to God's signs and symbols. And the stuff that he's put right in front of us to know, oh, it's gonna rain. Or, if the animals start acting crazy, well, maybe I need to be following them. Nuh-uh. Oh, that crazy animal. That animal got more sense than you. Dude. Animal got more sense to you because the animal knows something is coming. You, I'm not gonna worry about it. Animal like, no, let me out of here, nigga. Let me out. You don't wanna. I done tried to tell you. Let me go. Where's Scruffy? Scruffy done went and hid. He ain't worried about y'all. He tried to tell y'all it was coming and nobody listened. So Scruffy done got out the window. He done nudged the window up and he done cut out on y'all. I ain't going down with you, nigga. I've been telling y'all for 3 weeks something has happened. I've been looking towards the north at 6 o'clock every evening because something keep telling me something come from over there and you don't even Scruffy's my best friend. You listen to your best friend. Y'all don't be listening to y'all best friends. I can tell by the movies. Y'all don't be listening to y'all best friends. Yep. Y'all don't. You said Scrappy been acting real strange. That's what I'm saying. And y'all don't be paying no attention to birds doing crazy, flying all crazy, and we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And y'all be like, what's wrong with you? He's upset. He's overstimulated. No, nigga. He done heard it through the grapevine by the birds flying past the house. He like, why am I trapped in this cage? I'm supposed to be leaving. Something on the inside of me is telling me it's time to go. So the bird be hitting itself against the cage trying to knock it down because they realize it's time to go. Humans be like, well, I think I'll wait until everything is chaotic and the highways are jammed to think about it. I'm going to wait till the news is talking about it. And then if they report on it again, we'll go. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. It's nothing to worry about. Honey, go in your room. Just relax. Go take a bath or something. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it at all, okay? We're going to take care of it. The army will have us. If something's going to go on, they'll give us an alert. We're all packed and we'll leave in time. And then, 5 minutes later. No! Oh, shit. About to break my purse. No. Go get the bags. No. They said it was going to be. No, we have to leave now. Jared, you're not listening. No. Hold on. Go get your emergency bag. Honey, I don't have time for this. We'll try to meet you at the spot. No, the highway is already backed up. I do have the radios. Go get it. Go get it. No, hurry up. Hello? Honey, hello? The phones have gone out. No, we're not gonna go get the flashlights. We're not gonna panic. Okay. Nigga, I ain't waiting on y'all. Do you hear me? I'm not waiting on y'all. I'm not waiting on y'all. I'm not. I don't care if you don't believe it. I'm going to be riding past y'all like Jada Pinkett on the bus. Day after day. Trying to tell y'all. You said I just woke the baby up. Sorry, niece. Sorry, nephew. Sorry, baby. Tootsie, baby. I'm trying to tell you. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. The earth don't have to be rocking and falling for me to listen. Listen, I ain't even seen it more than 5 times. That's just my part, because I was like, yep, Jada. Y'all on y'all own. I'm fighting to live. I don't know. I gotta go. One of us gotta live to tell the story, and one of us gotta be free to do the book deal. Who gonna tell the story? When I'm old, to my grandkids, so she can write my. I'm gonna be the one. Change my name and write it under a different is. You pick your character, I already picked mine. Riding back. I cry while I'm listening to the sad song and make my stomach hurt. I might cry silently, that ugly cry holding the window, but I'm getting out of here. I don't know what y'all about to do. You cannot believe if you want to. All they gotta say is seismic activity. Well, it's time to pack it up. I'm gonna be like that man on Color Purple, packing up his piano and his banjo. Y'all can keep on playing. I don't got time for it. Mm-mm. Time to go. Gotta go. You hear me? Y'all be playing. See, I be thinking about all the movies where the people didn't get away. Noted. Don't do that. I'm not going back for Scruffy. I'm not going back for no stuffed animal. I'm not going back to see if they made it. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Especially not if you was the hothead that we had to keep telling it was coming and you didn't believe it and you just wanted to go for a run all by yourself and we keep saying just stay close. What is we coming to look for you for? You wanted to be left and lost. Literally, you wanted to be left and lost. Why is you mad at me? Because we is riding by you on the bus. And you banging on the side of it. We told you stay close and stay over here. Ain't no heroes around here. The Lord is the only hero. And if you don't listen to his word, then I don't know what to tell you. If you don't listen to which way he's telling you to go, I don't know what to tell you. Somebody got to live to tell the story. Somebody got to live to tell it. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to live to tell it. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to y'all about that. I wanted y'all to hear that man's testimony. It is definitely second Baruch and all the other stuff that we read. You've been left behind. I'm trying to tell you. And I'm about to go run the first 30 minutes of this, what's the name back? Tribulation for us. Because I'm telling you every time, it's nuts that we are living in this time for real. And the fact that Russia told us people don't travel to the United States, that means something, don't it? Who'll agree that that means something? They pulling out of Syria. And they told they people don't travel to the United States. Y'all don't think that mean nothing? Nobody? Everybody think that just don't mean nothing. Y'all remember Nostradamus talking about the attack in the wintertime? It happened already in 21, 22. It was the wintertime, I think, when it was the Olympics, when he went over there messing with them in the first place, wasn't it? It was wintertime. It was like January, February, when he started messing with them in 21 or 22. It was the end of 21 going into 22 that he started being over there messing with the people. We already is, Crystal. He already done set that up. That's why they talking about cutting the power to New York and Michigan and all of them places. Right. But God told us. Why? Now, do we got any Michigan people in here that's been here since the beginning? Tadera, anybody in here that's from Michigan that's been here since the beginning? Can you raise your hand real quick? I want to see something. Amara, you been here? Okay. Okay. How many of y'all was here like during that summer when, and then I think in the wintertime too, y'all power went out a couple of times in Michigan and y'all had to use y'all stuff? I know, I think it was in the summer y'all was having blackouts and stuff like that. Y'all remember? How many of y'all had to use y'all lights and stuff? Yours did, and y'all had to use y'all. You did, Tremaine? You don't think that was a sign that God was showing you? Because a lot of y'all said, even in Florida and places like that, was like, I would have had some candles, but we was set this time. We was ready. That was God showing you that your obedience, you said 3 times. Now look. God was prepping you and showing you, no, you made the right decision. You said, I used your propane stove to cook. We talked about it. And now it could be for an extended period of time. What did I keep saying this whole time? I said, what you going to do if there's no electricity for 6 months? Who's heard me say that? Who's heard me say that? What you going to do if there's no electricity and gas for 6 months? How you going to do what you need to do? How you going to keep your food? How you going 2 years later, could that be a reality for, you said, New York, Wisconsin, and Michigan? Yeah. Okay. That could be a possibility for the rest of us too, because some of those metals and those parts that come from China to keep our towers going, a lot of that stuff ain't made over here. It comes over on them boats. So it ain't just them that got to be worried about it. Excuse me. Y'all done seen the cargo ships with all them big generator type things, whatever them things is called, and all of that getting taken off the boat to our transistors or whatever you call them things? No? Yeah. All the metals and the pieces and the chips and the this and the that run our systems. Good night. You hear me? You said all those parts come from China and Canada. Okay, well. So not only can it be a reality for those 3 states, it could be a reality for us with the other tariffs, the parts being too expensive to fix or to get to fix the things that we need. So it's just amazing to me that God told us prior to. It's all I'm saying. He didn't have to, but he did, and I'm grateful he did. Even down to now they're telling New Jersey people, if you shoot one of these drones down and this and that, it might have bio whatever in it. You need to treat it like it's radioactive or whatever else. That's crazy. And this is in a regular neighborhood, on a regular stretch of highway. It was a redneck dude that got on there talking about he shot one down. Y'all seen that? Y'all saw him? He shot one down too. So, yeah. I don't know where he was at. He shot one down. Ooh, my babies be cooking. What you done made? That look good, girl. She made some mashed potatoes, a salad, and some, I think that's fish. Yeah, that's salmon. Well, go ahead then, little butt. It look real good. She probably sleep. Well, do your thing then. I'm so happy I taught my kids to cook. You saw the orbs are taking them down. Y'all see how a lot of them not the drones that they just beeping. When they use them telescopes to get in on them things, they look like a star, do they not? Some of them look like a plasma light, and the other ones look like the wheel in a wheel. Y'all seen them? You said it was North Carolina or South Carolina? And that's why I'm thinking it was a video. I don't know where it is, but this is the other one. Y'all might have seen this already too.
Donald Trump and his team are going to start threatening further legal action against media organizations to pressure them essentially to not write certain stories or to avoid writing certain stories in a light that may not be favorable to Trump. And this push is getting more legs given the fact that ABC News has just settled with Donald Trump over a defamation lawsuit where Donald Trump sued ABC News over the use of the word rape when talking about the E. Jean Carroll case. And now ABC News is paying Donald Trump $15 million plus another $1 million in attorney's fees. And after that ABC News settlement, Trump's team is now likely going to push these legal threats even more because it looks as though legacy media companies like ABC News, MSNBC, and others will just capitulate to his demands. This is becoming a concerning.
Do y'all know who else did that? Them over there. Them people over there. Them. They did the same thing. Y'all know that? It's in a documentary. That exact thing. Start unaliving journey. Listen, start unaliving journalists. Start unaliving journalists that reported what they didn't want them to report. Jailed them. Whatever. Remember, because the dude that wrote Schindler's List, remember, wasn't he a reporter? And he was right in that camp, wasn't it? Ain't that Schindler's List? Where he was having to get the books out in like suitcases and building the fake suitcases to get the books out, and they had to go through the checkpoints and all of that, and he thought they was gonna find his journals, remember? Ain't that Schindler's List? No? Anybody ever seen it? No? If you haven't watched Schindler's List in a while, yeah, very good movie to watch for right now. Schindler's List. That book is in here somewhere too. There it is. All right, now scoot over. It's right here. Yep. Excuse me. So if you haven't watched Schindler's List, you might want to do that as soon as possible. Very good movie. Very informative for what we're living in now. You might see some things that feel real familiar. Just go over and look at it. I think, be interested to lay your eyes on something. So, I'm about to go check on my stuff, go find me a snack, and get in the bed. I don't know what time I'm coming on tomorrow, because I gotta be making runs and stuff, and it depends on how this weather about to be. So, I don't know what time I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, but Lord's willing, I will see y'all tomorrow. And thank you for listening. To everybody that listened, I appreciate you so much. And I know your family is going to appreciate you too. You hear me? Seriously. My heart don't feel as heavy, even though it's heavy for the people that didn't listen. To know all of y'all is not going to have to be running around here scared if something pop off, not if but when. I'm grateful. Yeah. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. It pays to listen, though. You see that? It don't matter if everybody else believe it. You just believe it. And you going to come at the crazy people always be making it. I told y'all.